After finally earning a scholarship with our outstanding performance against Toledo last week, we still had a few games left this season and a great chance at winning the conference. So let's spare no time and get into the first game of the day. Back at home hosting Western Michigan, and I was really excited because the trainers told me I can finally stop wearing this ugly knee brace. We would come out in man coverage, and on this first 3rd and 4, I would get my first tackle. Unfortunately, they would convert, but you guys will see in this game, we get a lot of opportunities to get a lot of tackles. Like on this read option, where if we didn't read it perfectly, this would have been a touchdown, which would lead to this play where my teammate could have easily picked six this, but he decides to bat it down instead. Luckily, they would end up going for it on 4th and 4, and we would lock them down and get a sack and a turnover on downs. The offense couldn't make anything happen, and the first quarter would end with no points on the board. At the start of the second quarter, they must not have a great kicker because they were going for it on 4th and 14, and this curl route wouldn't be enough because me and my teammate are right there to stop them and get another turnover on downs. And no surprise, but the offense gave them a pick 6 touchdown, but they did manage to put 3 points on the board. That was out of our control. We still had to make plays on defense. We would have the opportunity of a lifetime on this 1st and 10 where the quarterback starts scrambling, he gets tackled, drops the ball, we kick it with our foot, dive for it and miss it just like our teammate from last week. On the very next play, I was feeling mad at myself, so I knew I had to make up for it. I'd come downhill and lay this disgusting hit, forcing a fumble, and both of my teammates would fail to pick it up, and they would pick it up and get on the outside, get the first down, and get tackled on the 35-yard line. They gave them a couple shots at the end zone, and they would come at me, and I thought I was going to get a pick, but my teammate bats it down. We'd get another chance on the next play, but my teammate would do the same thing, preventing us from building our stats up. But at least we stopped them from scoring. Starting off the second half at 7-3, and I knew I had to make something happen. I bounce this thing to the outside, and there's plenty of space for me to run. My teammate makes a huge block, and we're up the sideline. We would get hawked, and there would be a penalty on the play, but the momentum was starting to swing in our favor a little. We wouldn't get many chances to make any plays in the 3rd quarter, but I would have nice eyes on this and make a nice tackle on the running back on the screen. Unfortunately, at the start of the 4th quarter, their QB decided to dot us up to take a 14-6 lead. And as a defense, we knew collectively we had to get something going to get our offense back into it, but it doesn't help when you don't see the read option and the quarterback runs free up the sideline. We are able to chase him down before he scores. That play definitely hurt the whole team. Regardless, the game wasn't over yet, and I wasn't going to go down without a fight as we make a nice tackle on the running back here and followed up with a really nice tackle for loss. And then in 3 plays in a row, we would force the 4th down with this tackle. They would finally start to play smart and take their 3 points here. And we could do nothing as we watched our offense struggle from the sideline. We would end up losing the game to a 4-5 Western Michigan team. We did finish the game with 12 tackles, which was nice, but we definitely had to improve for next week. Starting off with a kick return here, this is definitely one of my more embarrassing plays as we run into the back of a teammate, and thankfully we held on to the ball because this could have very easily been butt fumble part 2.
Mark Sanchez scrambles up the middle, lost the football.
I don't know if the embarrassment got to me or something, but I was getting brushed off like I'd never been before. We did get a nice little 19-yard punt return here, finding a hole and getting up the sideline to give our offense good field position. But then on defense, I would just get ran over up the middle, and I just didn't feel like myself out there. Luckily, coach would dial up a nice blitz here, and we would get a clutch sack on the quarterback to get some momentum back. But all that momentum was quickly brushed to the side as I would fail to get to my zone, and their tight end would run right up the middle for a huge 55-yard gain. Our goal line D would hold them to 3 points, and on this next 3rd down, I would make a nice tackle to force a punt. I'd follow it up with a decent return here, bouncing it to the outside, but not having enough room to score, but still getting 19. So far, this has been a quiet game, but heading into the 4th quarter, we at least had the lead at 10-3. I knew in the 4th quarter I wanted to turn up, and we would do so with a nice play right here. They'd convert though and continue to move the ball down the field on us, and things were not looking great, especially after this huge run up the middle by the running back. We definitely wanted to hold them to 3 points, and I would do my best on this play, coming down and making a touchdown saving hit on the quarterback right at the 4-yard line. I don't know why, but for some reason we're not a part of the goal line package, and they would end up scoring and tying it up at 10 points, to which the offense would give them the ball back and a chance with 1 minute and 17 seconds left. But like I said earlier, we had to turn up, and I would jump this dig route, getting a pick and making the play of the game. And I think with that one, we definitely made up for our faults early on in the game. Somehow the offense couldn't even get 3 points to win us the game. They gave them the ball back with 11 seconds. It didn't amount to anything, but this game was going to OT. It would bounce back and get the first score in OT and set us up to win the game, but the Bowling Green OC had our number at this point, and we just couldn't stop the quarterback from running in here. On the next series, they would run outside zone, and we would find a nice lane, go to make a play. Our teammate was there. We would try to make a tackle and somehow end up getting injured on the play, and this was tragic to see in such a key moment in the game. But you know the boys got our back. We would hold them to 3, end up scoring a touchdown, and I would hear from the locker room as the fans are celebrating our victory over Bowling Green. Heading into our road game against Central Michigan, we knew this was a crucial win to keep us at the top of the conference. Our scouting report showed that the QB for Central was a bit of a runner, and I knew that I was going to have to come across the field and make plays like this all game. And just watch how our first punt return plays out. We would make a nice juke to the left side. I thought it was over at that point, but I hit a back step, then spin off these guys, jump out on the outside, and this has potential to be the nastiest punt return I've ever seen on this game. But we would get ran down by number 7. But hey, that was a nice return, and the offense would be able to turn that into 7 points. On the next series, we would have a chance to tackle the quarterback before he runs in the end zone, but unfortunately, he would brush us off like we're nothing. That was it for the first half, but in the third quarter, we would started off strong with this huge interception, getting a nice little toe tap, and we were absolutely hyped after that one. Flash forward a little bit later in the third quarter, and it's somehow 10-10. We were still flying around the field, making nice tackles. And if you know anything about me and this player, is that we really struggle with man coverage, and the quarterback would throw an absolute dime to the outside on this play. We'd end up forcing them into a 3rd and goal situation and absolutely strap their offensive play here. But unfortunately, the quarterback has all the time in the world. He ends up hitting a check down, and the running back somehow gets the edge and gets in the end zone to take a 17-10 lead, which was really frustrating. So I knew I had to spark the team up a little bit, and we would get this kick return, run it up the sideline, bounce it on the outside, and get all the way up to the 40, fighting for the yards and showing the team to not quit. Later on in the fourth quarter, we were running cover 0, and it paid off on this 3rd and 2 as we were able to force a punt. We would have to fair catch that punt and watch the offense try to go to work to get us the W here. And they would actually start off pretty nicely, and I was wondering where this was at all year. But unfortunately, I don't know what was going on because we didn't call a timeout or nothing, as the quarterback just lets the clock run all the way down to 7 seconds and then throws an under route, and it goes nowhere, not even in field goal range. So that just leaves us to throw up a Hail Mary, and that amounts to absolutely nothing. So we are going to OT for the 2nd week in a row. The offense wouldn't start too hot in the first series of OT, and they would hold us to a field goal. So we knew we had to hold them to a field goal or get a turnover. But it wasn't looking likely after this huge throw by the quarterback to the sideline, and just a beautiful play design as they are now on the 5-yard line. This next play could have very well been the game, but the quarterback barely misses the throw, and we would follow it up with a touchdown saving tackle on the 1-yard line. And you know, since I'm not in goal line defense, I'm running off the field at this point, and we're praying that we get the stop, which we do, and we hold them on the goal line. And their next series, that would prove to be really costly because the QB would try to force a ball over the middle, and my teammate was there to get the pick. And that was a huge moment for the team right there, as it was in the hands of the offense at this point. All we needed was a field goal to win, but the QB had other plans. He would drop back, deliver a dime over the middle to a wide open receiver, and we would get the score to win the game. And just like that, we would improve to 7-4 on the season. And with that win, it would secure us a spot in the conference championship, where we would be taking on ranked 20 Kent State, who was 10-2 on the season. This was a really good football team, and we started off the game, and man, I did a terrible job covering this guy, but so did my teammate, and they would get a nice completion over the middle. We had a chance to get our first tackle of the game, and we would get absolutely embarrassed. And not wanting what happened in Bowling Green to happen again, I got up and moved on to the next play. But on the next play, we couldn't do much, as we had to watch the quarterback run it in for their first touchdown. And it seems like it's a recurring theme, but I seem to kind of bounce back with my kick return ability, and we bounce it on the outside and get a nice little 42-yard return right there. On our next defensive series, we would get a 3rd and 12 stop. Offense would tie it up, and I would come down and make a nice tackle on this 3rd and 4, forcing a 4th down punt. With 30 seconds left in the half, it was still a tie ball game, and I thought I was going to get a sack on this play, but the quarterback gets it just out of his hand. But on 3rd and 6 with 12 seconds left, the quarterback would throw a laser to the back of the end zone and take a lead right before the end of the half. In the third quarter, I would come down and make a nice 3rd down tackle on the running back. That would lead to a stop and a score by the offense, tying it up at 14. And on this play, me and my teammates would work together to get a huge stop on 3rd down. And they were set up with awful field position here, and I was going to blitz no matter what. I wanted this safety, and I thought we were going to get it as my teammate runs downhill. And let me know in the comment section below if you guys think this should have been a safety or not. On 2nd and 10, we would help my teammate fill the gap here and get a nice stop, where we would then get a clutch tackle and make it 4th and inches and give us an opportunity to return. I knew right here and then that if I got a solid return, I could win the game for the team, and it definitely helps when the punter short kicks it like this. So we catch the ball, and I immediately see a lane to the outside. We bounce it, make a dude miss. We get all the way down to the 20, get pushed out of bounds with 3 seconds left, and watch from the sideline as our kicker nails the game-winning kick to make us conference champions in our first year of college football. The team was absolutely pumped, and we deserved it because we had been through a lot this season. season. Myself, my teammates, and everything, we really put together a fantastic showing. But we still have one more game and one more opportunity to show that we are a great football team. Now, before we get into the next game, I wanted to take a look at our stats and achievements on the season, where we finished with an incredible 92 tackles, 13 TFLs, 5 picks, and 5 forced fumbles. We were also awarded the Jim Thorpe Trophy, which is given to the best defensive back in all of college football, as well as the Bednarik, which is given to the overall best defensive player in all of college football. We had 48 punt returns for 739 yards, averaging about 15 per carry. We can definitely improve that next season. And then the only 2 punt return TDs we had were against Buffalo, and we were really close to getting a third one in that game too. But without further ado, let's get into the final game of the season. For our bowl game, we would get matched up against a 6-6 Utah team in the Radiance Independence Bowl. And let me know if you guys think this is fair. I know we're a MAC school, but we did have 9 wins and a pretty strong season. Regardless, we're thankful for the opportunity and we're going to do the most with it. And even though these guys were 6-6, they did have a really strong team. I think they were above a 90 overall, and it would show with routes and throws like this by the quarterback. We'd end up getting our first tackle on the speed option, reading it with my teammate to perfection. They'd go right back to the speed option, and it wouldn't work out as we get a nice tackle for loss on the quarterback. This quarterback was really good though, and he would continue to dot us up throughout the game. But at this point in the season, we were pretty locked in, and we definitely wanted to make the most plays we could, reading this screen to perfection and coming down and getting another tackle for loss. After that play, we were feeling really good and reading these offensive plays with great eyes and coming down and making beautiful tackles. In the second quarter, we would get our first chance to take a punt back, and a beautiful lane would open up to the outside. We would bounce it, and I thought there was a little space inside, so I'd try to cut back, but it didn't work out. We would get to the 25-yard line though. On this play, I thought the quarterback was for sure going to throw me my first pick 6, but he makes a beautiful read and finds the open guy over the middle. But thankfully, we'd stop him on this 3rd and 7 and hold him to 3 points for the series. With 37 seconds left in the first half, I knew we had a chance to set up the offense very nicely with this kick return. Just watch as the kick return team gets every single block I need. We bounce it, and nobody's catching us on this one as we get our first kick return touchdown of the season in our final game, and we were feeling great at that point, man. We started off the third quarter with a beautiful tackle on the running back. They go back to speed option, and we'd have to come across the field to make the tackle. They would get another set of downs, but hey, we're padding the stats. And this next play, guys, was an absolute fluke. My teammate was back there tackling him. Somehow he breaks away from it, goes up the middle, and I thought he was going to go score, but I did not know what to do for that play. It seems like Utah makes a living off their read option because they were running it again, and a wide open lane opens for the running back. We were the last line of defense, but we lay the hit and force a fumble before the goal line and get the touchback. This was a crazy play. I even got some respect from the coach, and through the first 3 quarters, we already had 10 tackles and 3 tackles for loss. But we knew we couldn't stop there. We were having the game of our career, sending us into the fourth quarter up 7-3. We start out the fourth quarter nicely with another huge hit on the running back, and all the momentum was in our favor as this 3rd and 15 was going absolutely nowhere. They would get 3 points, but that meant another kickoff return opportunity for us. We take this one, and I wanted to repeat and go on the outside again, so I bounce it out, get up the sideline. I thought we were going to take it, but I'll take a 44-yard return. Offense puts 3 on the board, which forces them to go for a touchdown with 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock. But their quarterback wasn't going to go down easy as he starts off the series with a dot over the middle. And we're all thinking pass on the next play, but they run a draw up the middle and it ends up working out great for them. We do get the tackle though. And their OC is thinking if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He goes right back to the draw and it goes for another explosive run play. They decide to pass on this play and it ends up being a screen. We don't read it this time and they end up converting on 3rd and 8. 1st and 10 from the 12 with 25 seconds left. We get a pass breakup on the first play. And on 2nd and 10, they would go back to the screen, but my teammate reads it perfectly and gets a huge tackle for loss. And with 5 seconds left, it's 3rd and 13. I'm thinking this is the final play. The quarterback's going to throw the ball up. We're going to get a pick to secure this W. He decides to run it, and that's a big mistake because my teammate's right there, gets the tackle, and we get the W, man. And in our first season of college football, we get our first bowl victory against a really good Utah team. And the fans and the frat boys are loving it. They're going crazy in the stands. And look at this, guys. We would even win player of the game with 13 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, and a huge kick return touchdown that was the only touchdown of the whole game. What a way to end the season. A couple weeks after that crazy win over Utah, I decided to enter my name into the transfer portal, and we immediately started getting contacted by a bunch of different schools. Teams like Alabama, LSU, Penn State, Florida all wanted me to join their programs, and it seemed like I would have my pick to go anywhere in the country. But where do you guys think I should transfer to?